Germany suffered a shocking defeat against Paraguay, officially knocking them out of the 2026 World Cup. It makes us realize Lionel Messi was right all along. Never underestimate South American soccer, as it is easily on par with Europe. The World Cup is always a tournament capable of shattering predictions in an instant. FIFA rankings, squad values, and pre-match analyses are nothing more than a baseline reference. Once the opening whistle blows, fighting spirit and clinical finishing define the match. This round of 32 clash in 2026 between Germany and Paraguay absolutely confirmed Lionel Messi's thesis. The Germans entered as heavy favourites, boasting an elite squad, vast experience on the biggest stages, and the historical weight of their 4 World Cup titles. In stark contrast, Paraguay looked like one of the tournament's weakest squads, barely scraping through the South American qualifiers after their highly criticised early exit from the 2024 Copa America. After miraculously sneaking through in 3rd place from Group D, Paraguay had to face the German giant. Nobody in their right mind was betting on a historic upset from the South Americans, especially against a rival loaded with high-caliber goalscorers. However, the World Cup is hostile territory for preconceptions. Right from the kickoff, the Paraguayan squad stood tall, playing with immense character and zero fear. Their defensive unit stayed organized, suffocating the German attack while counter-attacking with devastating speed. Then, in the 42nd minute, Julio Enciso sent the crowd into a frenzy by netting the opening goal. It was a just reward for a brilliant tactical setup, proving that the gap in elite football has vanished. In the second half, the German side was forced to commit everyone forward in search of an equalizer. Kai Havertz threw Germany a lifeline with a brilliant header in the 54th minute, sending the intensity through the roof. Germany dominated possession, but Paraguay leaned on the fierce, competitive DNA of South American football. With a heroic defensive display, they dragged the match into extra time, turning it into a grueling tactical battle. The Germans briefly tasted victory when Jonathan Tah found the net, silencing the stadium. However, the goal was ruled out, sending the drama to a penalty shootout. The psychological edge seemed to favour Germany, who had the legendary Manuel Neuer standing tall between the posts. But destiny had other plans. Havertz missed Walter-Maid faltered, and Tah failed to beat the Paraguayan keeper. Ultimately, Jose Canale coolly converted the decisive penalty to seal a 4-3 shootout victory. Germany packs its bags early in one of the tournament's biggest shockers. Looking strictly at the rankings, this is a historic blow to European dominance. Paraguay arrived completely under the radar, unlike a German squad engineered to lift the trophy. But if you and I analyze this closely, real football is never played on paper or in spreadsheets. Even worse, this marks Germany's 3rd consecutive World Cup failure to reach the knockout stage. Since their glory in 2014, the European powerhouse has been in a painful free fall. It is definitive proof that past trophies do not win current matches. Meanwhile, Paraguay proves that South American teams are incredibly tough puzzles to solve on the world stage. Let's review the group stage of this tournament, where South American teams left a massive high-caliber footprint. The defending champions Argentina dominated their match against a tough Austrian side. Ecuador tactically neutralized Germany. In the group stage, Brazil easily handled Scotland, and Colombia pushed Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal to the absolute limit, coming agonizingly close to a win. That draw secured Colombia the top spot in their group, complicating things for the Portuguese. Aside from Uruguay's early exit, the entire South American contingent proved they can go toe-to-toe with UEFA giants. This does not mean South America is superior in every scenario, as tactics and playing styles constantly evolve across different regions. However, this is a massive wake-up call. It is a mistake to underestimate these teams simply because their qualifiers offer fewer slots or because they lack European-sized budgets. What is fascinating is how this match revives debates over European superiority. Remember Cristiano Ronaldo's interview with Piers Morgan, where he openly questioned the competitive level of South American football? He claimed only Brazil and Argentina truly stand out, arguing that South American teams play the same opponents and lack the tactical rigor found in UEFA competitions. It is a controversial stance shared by other icons like Zinedine Zidane and Kylian Mbappe. Before Qatar 2022, Mbappe argued that South American football was not as advanced or competitive as Europe's. He claimed Argentina and Brazil do not face the same weekly pressure as European teams. Later, before Euro 2024, he even insisted that winning the Euros was harder than winning a World Cup. Pointing to tactical mastery and squad consistency, those provocative statements sparked massive debate. prompting Lionel Messi, South America's ultimate icon, to deliver a brilliant rebuttal from his perspective. Messi never downplayed the sheer quality of European football. Instead, the Argentine captain argued that the World Cup remains by far the most challenging tournament on the planet. From Messi's point of view, you cannot evaluate global football without historical giants like Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay, who boast multiple World Cup stars. Let's examine the raw data. Out of 22 World Cups, 10 trophies belong to South America. The superstar argues that Europeans tend to overestimate the prestige of their own regional tournaments. Ultimately, the World Cup is the true litmus test pitting continental champions against each other, and South America has always been a cornerstone of that global elite. The results at this 2026 World Cup prove Messi right, and Paraguay is the perfect case study. Let's not forget, we are talking about a team that finished dead last in their 2024 Copa America group. They were far from continental title contention, lacking the star-studded rosters of European giants. In fact, Paraguay barely clinched the final qualifying spot in the grueling South American qualifiers just to make this tournament. Yet that very team just eliminated a superpower like Germany. This highlights the absolute brutality of the South American qualifiers, where even the lowest seed can take down a European giant. That is why analysts classify these South American teams as highly dangerous threats in 2026. They might lack the bench depth of European powers. They may not participate in tournaments like the Nations League, but they compensate with incredible technical skill, adaptability, and the trademark fighting spirit that defines World Cup history. South American football has always stood tall against the old continent's giants. Every World Cup proves the physical and tactical gap is not as massive as critics claim, even if it is too early to declare absolute dominance for either region. Declaring a winner based on one tournament is short-sighted. Football moves in cycles, alternating between eras of European dominance and periods where South American grit and raw talent reclaim the glory. The reality is that the World Cup instantly bridges any perceived gap in prestige. Germany entered as four-time champions, and Paraguay was the lowest seed. Yet after 120 minutes of intense drama and penalties, glory belonged to South America. This is precisely what makes the World Cup the most exciting tournament on Earth. The primary takeaway from this upset is not about settling years of debate, but rather a confirmation of what Lionel Messi always warned: never underestimate South American football. It has a unique identity, and whenever European powers face these squads, they are in for a grueling fight. That was the Argentine captain's pre-tournament warning. His squad may not be the heavy favourites they were in 2022, but their unity is absolute. Taking down the defending champions will be a highly complex challenge. That is the grit and mystique of South American football. You can bet the old continent is already taking notice of these relentless contenders.